What's up, Trash Talkers? Here at Veteran Trash Talk, we actually vet our sponsors. We don't just take their money and run like a Butter Bar lieutenant lost on the land nav course. Are you finally ready to plant your flag and claim your territory? Maybe it's time to use that VA loan to buy a home. Or hell, maybe you're looking to refinance and put some extra cash in your pocket for more questionable life decisions. Either way, the Veterans Mortgage Source, powered by Canopy Mortgage, has your six. Look, buying a home or refinancing can feel like getting overrun on a bad op. Chaotic, confusing, and full of obstacles that make no damn sense. That's where Corey and his team come in. They're like the QRF of home loans, ready to pull you out of the chaos and guide you to the best program for you. And trust me, they'll answer all your questions. Yeah, even the dumb ones. Whether you're a salty vet or fresh out of barracks still trying to figure out where your TA-50 went. Great service, solid rates, and a team that actually understands the military life. That's why all of us here at Veteran Trash Talk trust them to do right by every veteran and their family. Ready to lock it in? Give Corey a call or shoot him a text at 808-699-7874. That's 808-699-7874. Don't wait. Unless you like overpaying and getting treated like an FNG. The Veterans Mortgage Source is powered by Canopy Mortgage, LLC. All loans are subject to credit and property approval.
Hey, what's going on, Mental Health Nation? Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. Len, how you doing? You're looking great as always.
Yeah. Hey, sorry I missed last week, but happy to be here this week.
You know, it's been a busy time for me here. I've had family in for the last couple of weeks, so we've been traveling, going all around, but they head out tomorrow, so it's been super fun. And if you watched the show last week, my older brother was actually on the show, and that was a lot of fun. And of course, Lynn, I know you were busy doing stuff, but hey, you're back today, so that's all that matters. Before we jump into this, we have lots of things to talk about. I want to say that yesterday was Veterans Day, so I want to thank for all of the fans out there who watched the show who are veterans. Hey, we appreciate you, appreciate all that you do 365. As Lynn and I will talk about later on in the show about our military service and what that meant to us. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way with your military service and what it meant to you. But with that, I'm going to jump into all the sponsorships and get all that out of the way. But hey, you got the QR code up there for Wreaths Across America. They have a fundraiser going on now. You can scan that QR code, and for very little money, you can donate $10, $15 to ensure that a wreath is placed on the tombstone of a veteran to memorialize them during the holiday season. You can also personalize that if you want to. So just scan that QR code and get them a lookout. Also, and you guys all should know this if you watch the podcast at any time, that Wreaths Across America Radio, yes, radio, replays my podcast Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. And it's super easy to find. Just download the iTunes app, the iHeartRadio app, and the Audacy app, and search for Wreaths Across America Radio for not only this great podcast that Len and I have, but all the great podcasts and music that they play. We got 10th Mountain Whiskey and Bourbon up there. You guys know I talk about them all the time. You should always drink responsibly. But hey, if you want to have a drink and kind of kick back, relax, maybe share a cigar with your buddies you're having, or you got holiday season coming up, hey, give them a look, see what their website out there. Their bourbon's amazing. Their cordial's absolutely amazing. You will not be disappointed. And just give them a try. You know what? They sponsor us. They sponsored us for a long time here at Veterans Trash Talk, and we really appreciate it. And we'd also appreciate you if you guys give them a look-see and a taste. Trust me, the Italians out here love that bourbon. And so anytime I go to the States or somebody comes to visit me, one of the requirements is you have to bring some. It's just the way it is. But hey, in the video you saw before with Veterans Mortgage, powered by Canopy Mortgage, there's no stupid questions. There's no silly questions, but interest rates are coming down, and maybe you want to look to refinance your home, or maybe you want to maybe do some remodeling, or maybe you just want to have some stuff done, or maybe you want to have a dream vacation. Come to Italy. But hey, give them a look, see. Maybe you have questions. But hey, if you have not used your VA loan, please get us QR code and start using that VA loan if you're looking for a home. Very important. And I said this many times before with PCS to Paradise, they're out there in Hawaii. If you're PCSing to Hawaii, that season's coming up soon. Scan that QR code. Now's the time to start to look. I know they help many families out here in Italy who thought they were going to Germany, and the Navy said, no, you're going to Hawaii. And they wind up going to Hawaii, and they really helped them out and find really nice places for them to live. So hey, scan that QR code, give them a look. See, this is what enables us to do all that we do. And so, it allows us to continue the shows and trying to get out there and reach as many veterans as we can to try to help them, if they're having issues or problems, and just to let them know that some days it's okay not to be okay. And I know that was a lot to say, but Len, you wasn't on the week, so I was sped through that so quickly because I know you probably have a lot of things to update. And hey, Brian, thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing okay. I know you had to work the other day in 19-degree weather. It is not 19. Hey, it was cold in Florida too, wasn't it?
It's pretty cold. It was like 50 degrees, 52 degrees, which is freezing to us. But I think our bottom was like 32 degrees this morning. I don't know. I did not step outside. But
that's chilly for Florida, though.
It's very chilly. This past weekend, though, was really nice. It wasn't too bad. I wasn't able to make the show because I was on the way to EDC, which is Electric Daisy Carnival Orlando, which is a huge rave EDM dance music festival. So it was like so much fun. It was large crowd. So if you're not really good with crowds or like tons of people, I really don't recommend. But I was with a good group of people and we were able to just go together as a big group. So just hearing all the different techno, house, dubstep, like different kinds of electric dance music was really cool to see, and the different sets. And then being under the electric, we call it the electric sky, is when they have all the lasers shooting around. That was so much fun. So it's definitely like a big experience, and there's all ages. You could see like anywhere from like 18 and up to even senior citizens were there. So every age is all welcome.
For a second. Hang on a second.
Yeah. Every age is welcome out there. So that's what I've been up to. Also, I'm still on furlough. So they're supposed to be voting tonight on the government shutdown. So even if they pass the bill at midnight, so then I'll be able to go to work finally. I think it's been like 41 or 42 days.
Yeah, no, it's been a while.
Yeah, I'll be able to finally get back to work tomorrow. Thankfully, and then I'll get all the back pay, and I'll have to pay Navy Federal back.
Right.
When that time comes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've already had like three paychecks or something that I need to, pay Navy Federal back for. But other than that, I had a really good chill Veterans Day. Didn't really get a lot of freebies because it gets really crowded here. Jacksonville is a huge hub for veterans. It's a big veteran city. I know I talk about it a lot. A lot of our guests here have their own, like the guests that I bring on the show are from Jacksonville with their own like veteran businesses or catering to vets. So it's a huge hub out here. There was lots of deals. I know the VFW did something great. So shout out to the VFW. Shout out to everyone who did the IW virtual 5K. So we had that going on. Also, today, IW is doing the IW Cabo retreat. So shout out to everybody going out to Cabo, Mexico, enjoying that weather down there. So hopefully they escape the cold weather to get to the warm weather down there. And hopefully no hurricanes come around, knock on wood.
That's right. Well, it's not, of course, in Italy, it's not cold. It's about 65, 68 during the day and gets down to maybe 45, 46 at night, something like that. It's not too bad. But, it's funny. I had a friend of mine from Missouri emailed me the other day, and they had actually northern lights in southern Missouri. They were
Wow.
red. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't know that was a thing. I thought that was like up north.
And apparently they had them out on the East Coast too.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're in the Midwest or out on the East Coast and you saw those northern lights, give us a shout out. Let us know what you thought about it. I saw a couple of posts on Facebook about it. I'm gonna try to bring you a picture here because she sent me a photo.
That's really neat. Like it's a natural phenomenon that you never really get to see. Wow, it's really red.
Yeah,
Are you
that's
sure
the
not a
sky.
UFO?
Let me shut this light off. Maybe it'll help. Yeah, I shut the light off. That's the sky. That's in Southwest Missouri.
That's insane.
In a small town down by Branson.
Oh,
That's just
I know
crazy.
exactly where Branson is. That's where all the little museums are, and then the Silver Dollar City.
Yep.
And,
Silver Dollar City. Yep.
Parton place.
That's in Tennessee. The Dallas
They have one in Branson.
Do
also.
they?
Yeah.
Do they?
There's
Maybe
one
they
in
do. I don't
Branson,
remember.
and
It's
there's
been
one
a while.
Yeah.
We always go to Silver Dollar City. We call it Steal Your Dollar City. Of course, I grew up there. My hometown is about 30 miles north of Branson. We used to live in Branson when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
But it wasn't very popular back when we lived in there.
Well, you remember I used to live in Oklahoma when we first
started.
That's
right.
off.
Yeah.
And then so we were like 3 hours away from Branson.
Yep.
So I remember taking my son to Branson one year for his birthday. It was something different, and it was really cool. So.
Yeah, my son Lloyd, when we go back to Missouri, we always have to spend the day and go down to Branson. He enjoys it. And this last time I was down there, which was this past year, I bought a bunch of T-shirts and stuff back from my friends in Italy. So I gave them, a lot of the country T-shirts and stuff. So it was kind of funny. They always get good souvenirs.
It's like close to Branson, in between Branson and St. Louis, where they throw the dinner rolls at you.
That is in Ozark, Missouri.
Yeah.
It's just north of Branson, because my brother lives in Ozark.
I forgot what it's called. It's so
Lambert's. The home at the Unreal.
Oh my God, I love Lambert's. We always
they're still there, and they're still throwing the rolls.
They're still throwing the rolls, which
still
is
throwing
awesome.
them.
And they give you all the sides. Like you get all of the sides, and the sides
as
are
much as you can eat.
Unlimited. As
much as you can eat. Yep.
It's really good family style eating out there.
And it's a lot of fun. My older brother, he's asleep right now because they got to fly out tomorrow back to Missouri, back to Ozark. I would have dragged him out and had him back on the show, but he was on last week. But he's also a veteran, spent 20 years in the service. He's actually the reason why I joined the service. Actually, as an older brother, he's 4 years older than I is. And, I just had to, I beat all of his high school wrestling records but one. And, I just couldn't let him join the military without me joining. So it's been a lot of fun to have him here and have him hanging out and just show him all around Italy. We spent several days in Rome, had a great time in Rome. Oh, I got a funny story about Rome. So in Italy, on the first Sunday of the month, all the museums mostly are for free. And so it's very busy. It's very chaotic because people want to get, but you have to get a ticket. And so I knew this. And so we planned to go to Rome. They came here, I think on the 30th, and then they had one day off. The 29th they came in. They had one day off, and then the 30th.
Is it one ticket for all the museums, or you got to go get a ticket for each museum?
It just depends. Yeah, but it's usually we got a ticket to go through a couple of different ones just by the line we was in. And so there's hundreds of people in line, and it starts early because it's free, and the Italians want to go and I understand this, right? It's expensive to go see them. When it's free, you want to get in line, do it. And so I wanted to make sure that we were in the right line, because if you're going to wait 2 hours, 3 hours for a ticket, you want to make sure you're in the right line because they give you times to go in. And so it'll start at 11 o'clock. You show up and you can tour the Coliseum on the inside. And then at 11:30, the next group goes in. And then 12:40, they just go by times. Well, after 3:30, there's no more tickets to give out. So they do run out. And so I walk up to read the sign. It was in Italian to make sure he was in the right line because, it's important. And so the guy comes out of the ticket booth because there was 3 lines and nobody was going in the third line. I didn't know. And he comes out and he starts yelling at people in Italian and he pushes me into the line.
To the third
I was
line.
just So we went right to the front.
Whoa.
So I texted my brother and said, "Get the hell up here now!" And so they come running up, and we're just got pushed up to the front of the line. No mistake to me. So hey,
Nice.
whatever. I got yelled at. Thought I was, and I was just following orders. He was
Or
yelling at
maybe
me.
that's just
So
how they talk. You know how the Italians talk really
that's
loud,
right.
like get in the third line.
It's like there's 3 lines. I'm like, okay, I'll jump in the
There's three
line.
lines.
So instead of
Okay.
waiting 3 hours, we waited 15 minutes. I don't even think it was 15 minutes. So he was able to go and tour the
Good.
Colosseum, which is a lot of fun. He'd never been to Italy. It's something that you have to do. And then was able to go and tour the Basilica, and so the Sistine Chapel and all that. Had a great time in Rome. It's pretty chaotic this time of the year. It's not really the tourist season, so it's not so crazy in Rome. But if you come during the tourist season, the summertime, it's absolutely crazy. And they had a lot of fun. And of course, we came back here to Naples, and you did some touring around here in Naples. We went and saw the palace here in Naples, one of the big palaces that was designed after Versailles. Versailles,
Oh, okay.
Versailles.
Mhm.
And then we went down to Monopoli, which is the Bari region on the opposite side of Italy. We spent 4 days down there. That was a lot of fun. And of course, now we're back, and then they fly back tomorrow. But it's a lot of fun when have family come in, but when you're the driver, the translator, and I'm just learning Italian, it's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
And we went down to downtown Naples yesterday, and I know if you guys ever saw videos of driving downtown Naples, it is crazy as the videos are. There's always mopeds going around you. There's cars cutting. I'm used to it because I drive in Italy. But my sister was so scared. She was diving her head down. I say, hey, be quiet. Don't scream. I know what I'm doing. It's controlled chaos in driving. But they had a lot of fun. It was a good time. I think that sometimes, for vacation and stuff, for them, they just had a good time. And I think for me, it's okay if I was a little bit tired or worn out. You know how it is, Lynn. You have sometimes family come in and visit, and you find them all over and friends. And sometimes, friends just pop in like Chris did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Host people like all of a sudden, Len's house is the place to be. So
yeah.
I'm kind of used to it, but I was going. Well, actually, you know what? When we were in Orlando, I hosted the Airbnb house, so there was about at least 21 of us there at any given moment when we were there, and then like we had people just coming in and out for like after parties and stuff. So
but what fun, right?
It was a lot of fun, though. Mm-hmm.
But hey, if you listened to what I talked about on the show, of course, yesterday was Veterans Day. Of course, Lynn and I both are veterans of the service. And, I thought it might be kind of fun to talk a little bit about each of our services and why we served and kind of the things that we did. Most of you do know that, Lynn and I both have suffered traumas at different levels in our service, but we have gone on and moved through that. And that's why we do the show, and that's why we find it's important. Because, with the holiday season coming on and everything, it can be kind of stressful for a lot of people. It can be a struggle for a veteran out there who's maybe lonely, who, maybe doesn't have family, who, if you have that person in your neighborhood and you know who they are, just take an extra time to talk with them and find out about their service, because you'll find, a lot of good stories. I remember we were talking about this tonight. We was on the way to eat dinner, because they went to eat there before we left. And when my wife, Crystal, lived in Chicago, the neighbors that lived there, I got to know the father, and he was a Vietnam veteran, but he was a tunnel rat in Vietnam. And for you guys don't know who the tunnel rats were, these were smaller statue guys who would crawl into the Vietnamese tunnels and, drop grenades or do whatever and then get back out of there. And it's truly amazing with his service and what he did. But he was talking about how he would have a rope tied to his ankles that was hooked to the boat, and he would crawl down in these tunnels and throw a grenade, and then they would yank him out of the tunnel by gunning the boat and stuff. And I just couldn't believe that. It was just amazing to listen to those stories and to sit and talk to him about his experiences in the service. Because, everybody's experience is always different. It doesn't make it less or more. It just makes it different. And I know, Lynn, you served on the Navy ship, but you also served other places too, right? You wasn't always on the ship.
So, I served in the United States Navy for about 10 years. My first ship was a destroyer, USS McCampbell DDG-85, and I probably spent about a year there. And then the
Now, where
ship
did you go on the destroyer? Was it out of Norfolk or was it out of California?
when I went to shore duty, or
Yeah.
when we were pierside.
Yeah. So the destroyer, where did you guys go to when you left the port?
Okay, so when we left port, we were only doing workup, so we would
Oh,
go
I
out
see.
literally from, I think they would keep us out of trouble. This is crazy. So sometimes they would be like, all right, we're going out to sea from Thursday through Monday. So we had no weekend. Or we
Right.
would go out from Monday through Friday, and then we'll have Friday, Saturday, Sunday have to get back on a ship on Monday and go back out to sea. And like just doing workups and practicing like war games type things.
Yeah.
Making sure that we're ready, to go deploy. Well, I only was there for like a year. The ship just newly commissioned. Meaning that they just they just commissioned the ship, and they just sailed from, I think was Pascagoula, Mississippi, all the way around to California somehow. Like, so they had to go around
Oh, okay. Down around Texas.
Gulfport,
All right. Yeah.
go around South America up to out to California, to San Diego. Well, they ended up doing a port change. So the home port change is when the destroyer is switching places with a different destroyer. So they had to go to Yokosuka, Japan. I was not going to get stationed at no Yokosuka, Japan at that time because I was
Right.
young. And of course, I'm a single mom, and my son lives in San Diego. And so my home port was San Diego. So I ended up switching over ships. So in between time, I was at Fax San Diego in Coronado, and then after that, I was on the USS Nimitz CVN 68, which is a huge aircraft carrier, Nimitz class, and they're probably about to get decommed this year or sometime soon. The max capacity on that ship is about 5,000 people.
Wow.
So ship's company is about 3,000 ish, and then when we get the air wing and air crew on and a different flight people, I forget what they're called, but when we get them on, they fly on board. Like, we pick them up and we go sail up, and they all fly on board. It's about 5,000 people.
That's crazy. I didn't think it was that many people.
Mm-hmm. It's like a small city out there, and it's bigger than a lot of people's like towns that they grew up in.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, in the military, they come from all.
Well, the town I grew up in was about 6,000 people, so not too much more bigger.
Yeah, exactly. And my particular job was when we don't call it MOS, we call it rating.
Okay.
So, and my rating was operations specialist. Now, those are the people that you watch on the movies in the dark rooms, where it's actually mission control room, where they know exactly what's going on and they're mission forward. And what we call that on the ship is called combat information center on the destroyer, or on an aircraft carrier is called combat direction center. So I worked inside combat. So my job is combat ready for anything. Like, we shoot the missiles there, we look at the radars, we have the big picture of what all ships and aircrafts and maybe undersea warfare, whatever is going on out there. Maybe there's mines out there, different straits or whatnot have mines that we got to look for. But and we do.
So when the aircraft carriers go out, did they go out in a group?
Yes, we go in a strike group. So we go in a strike group. So usually you have a couple of DDGs, I think. Back then we had some frigates, we have submarines, we'll probably have an amphib, and then, all of our aircraft. And then Brian said nukes. No, we're not. I'm not a nuke. Okay, we shot like missiles from there. We did detect to track. What we do is gather, process, display, and disseminate tactical information to information centers or tactical centers. So, it's a lot of words to say that I put warheads on foreheads.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a lot of words to say, like, we made sure the ship was safe in international waters, navigation and all of that. And then within my job, I had a specialty. So my specialty was actually Top Gun air intercept control.
That's right.
So if you see the movie Top Gun, how they're doing dogfights and stuff, and they're doing intercepts, there is a controller.
That was you?
There's a controller called Strike. That's me. So I'm stripe controller, and only like top 2% get to go to that school, and only top 1% actually graduate. So it's really hard. It's not an easy school. And at the end of that school, you have this whole presentation about call signs, and it's written in the zipper or in message traffic, and you can't reuse that call sign ever again. So my call sign was salsa. The reason being is they were like, oh, she got an attitude. She got a kick. She's like, I don't know what they're talking about. I'm the sweetest person in the whole world. Really
yeah, you're not spicy at all. You're calm, collective.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could go on and on and on about my service. I had 10 years. I did 4 deployments in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. What people don't understand is all the things that we go through, we're trained. We're trained robots. Like, we hear bells and whistles, you know what to do, right? But when you get out of the military, that's when everything matters. It really hits you, because now you have time to think.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really actually know what you've done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh wow, I actually did all those things, and then that gets in your head. It's like, okay, maybe it's like a conflict of morals, and that's when mental health comes in and plays a big part. And that's for everybody in the service. Everybody had their part in doing what they did, but you never really actually take a moment when you're in active duty, in the midst of all of it.
No, that's true. And you bring up a great point. When you're so mission focused, especially the war on terrorism went on for 20 plus years.
Yeah,
it's hard to wind down from that. And you think about World War II, World War I. When those soldiers came off the battlefield, they had a long time before they made it home. Nowadays you can be at the battlefield and back home in 12 hours, 24 hours. You don't have that. And I think when the Iraq war kicked off and the Afghanistan war kicked off, we had soldiers coming back with a lot of issues and problems because they didn't have that time. It took, of course, the military a long time to, figure that out, because, this was I do. When I was in Iraq and I came out of Iraq, we were redeploying back to the States, and anybody's redeployed, it's helicopters, unit movement officer, packing up equipment, blah, blah, blah. Well, when I came out of Iraq into Kuwait, and then I kind of had that little bit of time to wind down, I didn't realize how spun up I was until other people were coming out of Iraq who were just, and that's how I was. Of course, I've been in Kuwait a while, coordinating equipment movement, all this other stuff. And I was like, it's crazy that we send these people home this jacked up so quickly. Now I know they changed all that. I'm going back in the past a lot, but I mean, that's why we had so many problems.
Well, I hope that they've changed things. I'm not really too sure now. And now we're not really at war per se.
And that's another problem with the military. So when of course I was 34 years in the service, long tooth. But when I first joined in 1987, I don't know if you were born in 87 yet.
84. I was born in
84. So you were 3 years old when I joined the service. I was 17. But, we always trained in garrison, right? Yeah. And so we knew how to do that. In preparation for war. And then the wars kick off. Where the wars went on for so long, you had enlisted officers who that's all they knew. They didn't know how to operate in garrison. That was part of the IG before I left. It was part of one of the inspection divisions that we did. And then as they start winding down and coming back from war, these officers and senior enlisted didn't know how to operate in a garrison environment because they'd never done it. And so that made it was a huge struggle for a lot of members in the military to try to get used to that, because you always bam, 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 bam. And now you got to do
go. You're always high speed the whole time. And
now you got to do required training. You have to do, all this stuff you didn't worry about while you were deployed. And now you have to do it because it's by regulation that they didn't do while you were at war. And so a lot of leaders had a lot of problems and issues. And then plus, and we know this as well as a lot of people, that when the wars were going on, that the military lowered standards and they allowed certain people to get in that probably never should have been in because they had different issues with themselves that they waived. And then now those people are starting to have issues.
Waivers.
When they come back. Yep. And, so it just created a really big mess. And, of course, it's working its way through like it always does. But it is stressful for a lot of soldiers and for a lot of veterans out there who dealt with that, like I have and you have, Lynn. It becomes very hard. And there's always times like we're coming up on Thanksgiving. Of course, we just had Veterans Day. That things can trigger you, and this is why I wanted to kind of talk about military service and all the things that people go to, because I know we have people that watch the show that have nothing to do with the military. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. Absolutely, Arthur. You're absolutely right.
I feel like the new problems that the military has these days is like social media, right? TikTok.
Oh yeah.
They're like, okay, this is crazy. I saw a soldier
social bullying
getting canceled on live on TikTok. Like this lady, she's like an officer too in the army, and she was doing a countdown to when I cancel this soldier. Like, why are you doing this? Like, are you out of your mind? You need to cancel behind closed doors. Like, you're humiliating this person. Like, I don't get that whole point. I don't understand like the social media and like showing everything that you do, as a military service member. Maybe I'm just old, but that I just don't see the point in that. Like, why are we dancing in the uniform?
I don't get that.
Doing political stuff in the uniform?
No, I don't get
why
that.
Are we counseling people in the uniform on TikTok?
Yeah, I don't get that.
Make that make sense. So I can't
make it make sense. I can't. Now, what I can say is that if social media is used in the right context, it can be value added, because that's how the younger community.
Absolutely.
But all these other stuff that goes on, I don't understand. And sometimes I wonder if those people are not necessarily in the service anymore, and that's why they're in uniform making those videos. But sometimes they are. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they very much are. But that's something I don't understand. I think they would get in trouble for that. I mean,
I would think you would get in trouble for that, but it was an officer that was counseling like an NCO or something. Like, I don't get it.
That wouldn't happen when I was in. I mean, usually behind closed doors when you counsel somebody, it was either, and if it was serious,
in public and you counsel them behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, and then if it was, depending upon what that was about, you had somebody else in the room with you. You wasn't in the room alone with them.
So now you're creating new traumas for this new generation. Oh, so you're pretty much social media bullying them. You know what I mean? Now there's thousands of people who are not even in your unit who know that you got canceled, and people who are not even military that know you got canceled. Like, what? So
the Secretary of Defense needs to put an end to that. No more counseling on TikTok.
Get on that.
Get on that. I know husbands are pretty busy.
That's right. And no counseling on TikTok.
That's right. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
No, but I mean, it's when I, of course, even though I'm out of the military now for a couple of years, I still do speaking events and stuff. And of course, I hear what's going on. And I think for a lot of the leaders, especially older ones, right? How this is, like, oh, well, they just don't communicate like I do. They just don't talk like I do. Well, you know what? You didn't either when you joined, right? The same generation said the same thing about you. And I said, you have to learn, a good, effective leader will learn how to communicate with his subordinates, no matter what rank you are, no matter what you do. And you got to find that perfect balance with that. And I think sometimes they forgot that. I may be wrong, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't get it. But thank you for your service.
Yeah. But hey, if you join the military, if you join the service and you were in the hey, throw out there if you was in the Army, the Marines, or the Navy, or the Air Force vacation, Disneyland. I don't know what the Air Force does.
The Air Force.
I know, right?
we were making fun. Oh, Monday was the Marine Corps birthday. So shout out to 250 years.
250
to the
years,
Marine Corps.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I was at my good friend Uni's house. Shout out Uni. She's Air Force, and she was like Special Ops Air Force. And then so it was me, which is Navy. She's Air Force, and then my friend Army. And so she's giving us IVs. Like, we're sitting at her house on Monday, and she's like, "Well, while the Marine is celebrating the birthday, the Air Force is giving Navy and Army IVs for like recovering from the weekend."
Right. That's funny.
Yeah.
But it's one thing about the services. We all like to tease each other, and we all tease the Air Force just because we're jealous of them. I never thought about joining the Air Force.
My dad was like, join the Air Force, like, and every parent who's military and then their child wants to join the military, what do we say? Join the Air Force.
Join the Air Force,
like, you don't want to join the Navy, Marine, or Army, join the Air Force.
I actually had a good friend of mine. I convinced her to join the Air Force instead of joining the Army, and she wound up joining the Air Force and was in for a couple of years and had a pretty good career. But yeah, I mean, it's just a difference in the service and what you want to do and what you want to serve.
Well, the good thing about their careers is what I've heard from my other Air Force friends is that whatever jobs they have, it actually converts to a civilian job.
Yes.
Or whatever jobs they have, they actually get that certification that's equivalent in the civilian world or the same civilian certification. So if you were like in the Navy, we have corpsmen or who are medical people or EMS or whatever. If they have, they don't get, when they get out, they don't have anything. They have to start from scratch. Right. You know, you can pretty much be a surgeon in the battlefield, but you get out, you have to start from scratch because you don't have any of the certifications equivalent, you know, in the civilian world.
Like being a paramedic or nurse assistant, whatever. Yeah.
In the Air Force, so that's my friend Uni. She's a physician assistant now, but back when she was in the Air Force,
was she on the show?
Medical. I think she was on the show. She was on the show, and she's a diver.
Yes. That's how she does her therapy. Yeah, she was on the show. Yeah. Okay.
Was she here in person with me, or maybe at her house?
I think she was at her house. She was at her house. Yeah.
But she had those certifications, so it's easy for her to transition to the civilian world to be able to like take that certification and use that. Like, hey, I have this. I'm going to become a PA now. You know. So.
Yeah. Well, I know with me in aviation, of course, being aviation maintenance, that you could. You know, as you're going through training, take the extra classes, get your A&P license, your airframe and powertrain license there for the FAA if you chose to do that. So there's other training opportunities, at least in the Army aviation, that you could go and do. But it wasn't nothing they gave you. It was something extra that you could go and do and get that certification. But a lot of times they allowed you the time to do that. Now I don't know about any of the other MOSs. I don't know about that. And maybe they offered something. Of course, I don't know about artillery, what you're going to do in the civilian world. You know, exactly. Or tank driver or what, you know, I don't know.
You take inventory at the gun shop. I don't know.
That's right. Well, you know, it's like me, you know, 151 Alpha, of course, as aircraft armament repair, but as a warrant officer, you know, you did logistics a lot. And so you know all about logistics. What does Gary says? The carrying over of our Navy did not help in
the civil world.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I think there was some certifications you can take outside of your rating, but that was like extra classes, like extra outside activities.
And who wants to do that when you're a young kid?
You know, like after work, I'm done.
Yeah.
Let's go work out and go sleep in my rack or whatever it is. Like I'm done. Yeah. After a 20-hour day.
Yeah. You know, go out drinking or whatever. If you're like me in Germany as a young 20-something-year-old kid. Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do is go to class. No. Which, as I got older, I wish I would have done that. But I didn't. But you know, hey, it's a school of hard knocks, right? That's how you learn.
you always look back and you're like, oh, I should have did this, you know. Yeah. So hindsight's always 20/20.
You know, and you try to get, of course, you know, my son's 21. He's getting ready to graduate college this year, and you try to, you know, he's not in the military. He's got a peanut allergy, so he could never join. But you still try to get your kids not to make the stupid mistake that you made, right? But you can't stop them. You can always, and like your parents my parents couldn't stop me from making all the stupid mistakes I made.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, everybody has their reasons why they joined. And I'm just like, I think it's just one of the best decisions I ever made in my entire life because it helped set me up for the rest of my life, you know?
Yeah.
So I was able to get my degrees up to my master's degree. I PhD dropout, all paid for by Uncle Sam.
Is that how you met Bill? Was through your PhD?
That's how I met Bill through my PhD class. And,
that's right.
Dropped out.
That's how you met me, I guess, through Bill. Yeah, that's right. Because you were doing Throat Punch Mondays at that time, right? Yeah.
Yep.
How long ago was that? 5 years ago?
That was a long time ago. It was during COVID, Cliff.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
That's how long we've been doing shows.
Wow, that's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Right.
But you know, of course, I talked about it. You know, for me, joining the military, of course, my brother had joined, and of course, I wanted to outdo him and join. But for me, really, I was not going down a good path. You know, I was, you know, racing cars. I was fighting a lot. I got in a fight with a kid and put him in the hospital for a week. Damn near killed him. And I had to make a different choice in life. And that's really when I joined the military. And it really kind of helped straighten me out. I probably would have wound up in jail, to be honest with you, had I not joined the military. Because I was going down not a good path. But, you know, like life's, you know, when you come to that Y in the road, what can you do? either go right or left, and then hopefully you made the right choice.
Or you become a sailor and you end up in jail anyway because you go
Yeah.
get into bar fights, like, you know.
You heard about that. You didn't actually do. We'll save that for another show. And welcome to the show of mental health warrior Lynn and her bar fights while in the Navy.
Well, I did 4 deployments back to back. It was 6 months, 10 months, and 10 months. And then we had port
You have
stops
to
in
unwind.
between. So after, and we are like a month out to sea. And we're stopping at Hong Kong. Oh, yeah. Sailors are going to run buck wild.
Oh, yeah. Can't blame them.
You
I mean,
know.
I would have done the same thing. I mean,
Mhm.
we'd go to Germany all the time, and I would be crazy in Germany. I mean,
Yeah.
I was a perfect angel in Germany.
I was a perfect angel, an EP sailor, exceptional
That's right.
sailor.
That's right. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Of course, I was, you were kind of there at the beginning of it because I was lucky enough that we didn't have cell phones, and we didn't have photos, and we didn't have those kinds of things.
The smartphones. We had like flip phones or like
the flip phones, yeah.
Phones. We had the Sony digital cameras.
Right.
I remember our first deployment. My friend had a disposable camera.
Yeah.
So yeah,
getting the
evolved.
old pictures developed and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think it was like till 2007 or 8 when we started getting the smartphones, and they even then they weren't that great.
No.
So.
But I'm kind of but sometimes I wish I would have had a phone back when I did some of my stuff because
oh no, not me.
There've been some really good YouTube videos I could have made.
Oh my God, I probably would have been famous for all the wrong reasons.
I know, right? Yeah, I'll be the same way. Yeah, we was in. I could tell you stories about the Azores in Germany and losing the first sergeant's bus in downtown Mannheim. It took us 3 days to find it. Oh yeah.
Listen, I'm glad I grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s. Okay, there was no evidence of what I did. Right. Okay, and even then, it was probably on a 35 millimeter camera where it's lost somewhere now. So
that's right. And Brian says the Kodak Instamatic. Oh yeah, the old Kodak Instamatic. Yep, I remember that.
Those are the disposable ones, right?
I think so. Yeah. But hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Let's see, Lynn, I'm gonna let you close out first, right? And then I go.
Everybody, if you haven't checked out www.VeteranTrashTalk.com.
I got one of the older t-shirts on
There's
tonight.
one of the old t-shirts right there.
Yeah.
On there, you can find all of our podcasts on there. And not only that, our shop and all our merch is on there. So, and it's, with the holidays coming up, go get you a shirt on there. And I think we still have like buttons and other cool things on there, like hats. Yeah. So check that out, www.VeteranTrashTalk.com. Cliff?
And if you want to have a t-shirt, they'll also help you design a t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're able to do that also. So if you have a t-shirt,
there's no hats.
There's no hats. No hats.
Oh, nope, no more hats. But there's other things there. And then, like I said, Christmas is coming up. Also, for Irreverent Warriors, there's 3 more hikes left for the end of the year. So we have, I think, Key West, Vegas,
nice,
and I think it's San Antonio. Something like that, but check out irreverentwarriors.com. Our mission is we bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to improve mental health and prevent veteran suicide. So come on out, get yourself out of isolation, and do some camaraderie. Get some camaraderie with your fellow brothers and sisters.
You know what? And here's some stories like Lynn and I talked about tonight, and maybe we'll dive into some of the other stories later in another show. But are you done now, Lynn? Are we done?
Yeah.
Can I go around the horn now? Okay.
Vegas, Key West, and San Antonio for
Irreverent Warrior. Yep.
Yeah, for the month of December.
Nice. Hey, check one of those out. I guarantee you, I went on the Irreverent Warrior hike here in Italy. It was the best time of my life, and it was a whole lot of fun. And if you haven't done it yet, get off your butt and go do it. You're going to enjoy it. Hey, but along with it, you got Wreaths Across America there. You scan that QR code for the lowest $10 and $15, like I taught early on. You can donate wreath. You can also personalize the wreath if you have a family member or loved one who has gone on and you want to memorialize them. Give that a scan. And like I said before with Lynn and I's podcast, they replay our podcast on Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find. Just download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the Audacy app and search for Wreath. For Wreaths Across America Radio, for our great podcast, but all the other great podcasts they have on. They play great music. They've really expanded their base now. They all up and down the East Coast now, and super proud to be a part of them. I talked early on, the holiday season's coming up. You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, you got New Year's. Better get that 10th Mountain Whiskey ordered. And bourbon, I'm telling you, will not be disappointed in that. Hey, thanks, Brian. You have a good evening, too. The cordial they have is absolutely amazing. But you know what? Maybe the first of the year's coming along, and maybe you're thinking about using a VA loan. Maybe you're thinking about refinancing the house, or maybe you're thinking about remodeling and building a cave downstairs, maybe a theater room, maybe something on your house like that. Maybe putting a bar in. Hey, you never know.
Mhm.
But scan that QR code for Veterans Mortgage, patented by Camping Mortgage. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have, or maybe you just have basic questions about your mortgage. It's always good to be informed, and always good to, make sure you got the best advice that there is. And along with that, if you happen to be PCS into Hawaii, scan that QR code in PCS Paradise. We'd be more than happy to help you find that dream home you have while you're in Hawaii for the next 3 years, or why not? Just go there and live high on the hog while you're in Hawaii. But most of all, we do have the holiday season coming up. We went through the time change. I know for a lot of people it can be very stressful, very depressing. Let's take an extra time to look out for each other. A kind word can go so long to anybody's life, and say, hey, make sure you're doing okay. Make sure everything's going all right. And, may not be anything serious, but sometimes just saying hi and with a follow up question can mean the world to a lot of people. And if you're traveling, please, please, please know that those flight attendants, those bus drivers, those taxi drivers, and everybody out there in the service industry are doing the best job they can. And you know what?
Especially during this shutdown.
That's right. Especially the air traffic controllers that keep you guys from bumping into each other. Hey, you know what? Take a little extra. Practice a little patience, and things get canceled. Like I tell my son, if something happened on our flight, we just make an adventure out of it, and just go with it, and don't be too mad, because it's always good to treat people on how you want to be treated. But with that, I want to say thanks for everybody for tuning in. We'll have a great show next week, and you guys have a very safe and lovely week. And we'll talk to you later.